to Spartyka Fight League Radio with your hosts Mikey B and Chris Elane.
Let's go to war! It's fight time!
Welcome to SFL Radio. We are back, fresh out of SFL 35. We're here live at the UFC Gym, 2-year anniversary, annual celebration. You can hear the DJ in the background. They just had a big belt test with all the kids. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's pretty loud in here. It sounds like they're boogieing.
It was super quiet before, but we started late, and then as soon as we started, the DJ cranked up, and I was like,
of course.
Go figure.
Yeah, after the belt test, it kind of died down a little bit. We had a lull, but did we take advantage of that time? No.
Well, we did. We just BS'd instead. So, as usual, I'm sitting here, Mikey V. Chris Elane couldn't be here. He's in Maryland for work. So I have the ever-popular, the Eddie Mercado here. And, of course, Mr. Spartyka, Jimi Partyka.
Just seeing somebody come in with look like a damn super soaker. I haven't seen one of those things in years.
Now it's a party.
They have because it's a big kids thing today, so they have like kids games and all kinds of stuff. And I saw a guy in a kid in a Deadpool costume, so that was pretty cool. And we're gonna have Coach Nelson come on a little bit later after you guys are done. Talk to him a little about what's going on today.
Cool.
So let's talk about 35 just passed.
Yeah, man, 35. We had some great fights. I mean, the action was just it was unbelievable. The crowd was really into it that night. We had 2 knockouts. We had some great finishes. We crowned a new interim champ, Elias Briley. He ended up getting the victory over Marshall Shermer. So now as we start approaching into this next fight card, we're going to go ahead and unify the 145 division. So Jacob Ashley, the reigning 145 champ, will take on Elias Briley.
Yep.
That'll be pretty interesting. The co-main that night, Will Worley ended up losing the belt, but looks like David announced that he's going to end up going pro, so it looks like the 170 belt is going to end up vacated. So real soon we'll make an announcement on what direction we go with that. So
up for grabs.
Nice.
But that was a good fight.
That was an awesome fight.
It was.
That whole night was like action nonstop. Even from the undercard, it was like super intense the whole night. And what I liked, we were talking about, like the weather was horrible that night, but we still had just an awesome crowd turnout. I mean, people drove through flooded roads, and it was nonstop. I loved it.
Yeah, it was good. A lot of finishes, and the fights that went the distance were actually really competitive. So it was a good night for SFL. The crowd was really into it.
For those watching and listening, you can go to FITE.TV, SFL 35 pay-per-view. Check it out. You don't want to miss it.
Yeah. Also, Facebook, you can go check us out there. Spartyka Fight League. Hashtag us. If you just click on the hashtag, it'll take you most of our content. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're everywhere. Everywhere you want to be.
Yeah, and little by little, we're starting to get. There was a lot of content that we had that hasn't made it on social media yet. Hasn't made it up on our Fight TV page. We've got our own Spartyka Fight League page on there. So little by little, we're going to go ahead and archive all the prior fights and get them on there. So if you want to go back and watch. Preston Hawker, he came out with a pretty good victory that night. His last fight with us was SFL 9. So he went from SFL 9 to SFL 35. That was a long stint before jumping on the card. But if you want to go back and watch his SFL 9 fight or SFL 5 or his first time competing at SFL 2, we're going to end up getting all that stuff up on Fight TV.
Shout out to the pastor of disaster, Preston Hawker.
Yeah, actually, I was talking to him yesterday about his book. I'm going to be helping him out with some of his book projects. So he's got his release. He just sent it off to a publisher, so that's exciting.
Yeah, should be interesting.
Yeah,
should be interesting.
You got to write a book.
Yeah, I got to do a lot of things. A lot of things on my plate.
Make a list.
I need to take a vacation. Maybe I'll go somewhere in like Southeast Asia or something. Take a little time off. Who knows?
Hey, I heard. I think it was. Is it? What's the Thailand? I heard it's great.
Maybe it's the Philippines. I'm not sure.
Maybe or Vietnam or something. I don't know.
I'm going to Nam.
I hear it's all beautiful.
It is.
Vietnam?
Oh, we went to Vietnam. We're going to be making that trip again. But Vietnam. That's always been on my hit list. I've never got a chance to make it out there, and with all the stuff that's going on with Senator McCain, I've seen somebody post some pictures that actually went out to Vietnam, and they went and got a chance to visit like the Hanoi Hilton where they had all the POWs, and they actually had like John McCain's flight suit and pictures and all this stuff. And I didn't realize all that stuff was over there. So I don't know if that was, I actually reached out to the person that posted online. I don't know if they just kind of took that and turned it into a museum or what, but they actually had his flight suit and had pictures of them like releasing him and all that. And I was like,
wow,
man, it'd be interesting to fly over there, check out, Vietnam and be able to go back to the POW camp if it is up and just be able to see how these guys, live.
Yeah.
And being active duty, I mean, I've gone through the Air Force SEER course and I've done the Navy SEER course, so I've got a little taste of what those guys experienced because they came back and kind of, built a replica.
Yep.
And it'd be kind of interesting to go over there and see it. So maybe Southwest Asia. I
like
put that on my bucket list item when I retire. When I no longer have to ask the Navy where I was going to
say,
go.
Because now you'd have to put in a out-of-country request and all that crap.
To do a bunch of online courses and all kinds of other crap. I'll just wait. As soon as I get out, I'll do whatever the hell I want.
Exactly. It's so lit in here. Like, listen to this.
It is.
I know, it's a party.
Crazy. Uh-oh, here's a little one running around with a mini soaker.
Yeah, I saw like 7 water pistols just be brought in here.
Yeah?
I don't know what they're planning.
Well, they have that, and then they're also doing the Kid Fest today at the Sportsplex. So that's going on too. And then I know that's why Dan Brooks is in here today because he's doing the Sportsplex. So.
Busy day, man. It's summertime. There's always something going on. We actually got good weather, so it's a good day to be out. It's a good evening to be out.
Well, last night you
no reason to do anything indoors today.
No.
Get out there and enjoy this weather.
Last night you came to my cigar event for Primo Cigars, which was awesome at our sponsor, Dead Reckoning Distillery.
Yeah,
so you came out, and Dan was here from UFC Gym. It was nice. It was a good time.
Yeah, it was a good turnout. They made some pretty good drinks last night. Got a chance to meet a senior chief Coast Guard bartender. He was a pretty cool guy, and it took good care of us last night. It was a good event. So.
Good stuff. So let's talk about what we have coming up. SFL 36 is over the horizon here, October 20th.
Yeah, so we should hopefully be dropping the first round of posters this week. We want to get the posters out there early, start really promoting this. We kind of talked about unifying the 145 division, so that's definitely going to be the main event. I think that's a hugely anticipated fight. Yeah. Jacob Ashley got Fight of the Year last year. His fight with Tommy Kuzi, that was a really tough fight. He's got a great record. He's coming off an injury. So he's looking to come in there. This will be his first time being the main event. I know he's excited about being the main event. He's going to be taking on a tough competitor in Elias. I mean, this kid, his first fight with us was this year. And, I mean, he's just kind of exploded in 2018, and he's just kind of risen up through the ranks. He's become a fan
really
favorite.
He's really driven, real active on social media. Yep. You guys go check him out. And I
was hoping to try to get him here today because he was here at UFC Gym training with Taniel for Team Abu, and he left, like, as I was hitting him up, he's like, I'm on the way back to North Carolina. And he actually considered turning around, and I was like, dude, we'll catch you next time, man.
I was messaging back and forth with one of his coaches, and this morning thinking that they were still here. And his coach was like, oh, man, if I'd have known, we'd just stay one more night. But, we definitely got to get him on the podcast. That's long overdue.
Yep. Yeah, we sat down with him after both. I remember his first fight when he sat down with us. We talked about that SFL 35 at the end of the fight. And it was cool because we were like, this is a kid to watch. Yeah. And then here we are sitting down with him. Hey, there's Coach Nelson. We're sitting down with him, and then he's got the belt. And it was really cool to see that. And he's got a ton of energy. Great guy. Great interview,
he wears
too.
the belt proudly, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely a champ.
Good ambassador to the sport, too. Super humble, super respectful.
Yep.
Excellent champion.
Yeah, and that guy works, man. I mean, he's, doesn't cut any corners. He puts the time in. Just well-rounded all the way around. I mean, very approachable, very humble. He's got the presence on social media. He's just a well-rounded athlete.
Everyone always talks about his kickboxing. Like, oh, you got to watch out for his kickboxing, which is true, you do. But he's submitting everybody.
Yeah, which is crazy.
He's submitting everybody.
And he keeps telling people that, too, and people still are like, he's striking. And he keeps telling people in his interviews, I win by submission.
Well, that's interesting because, Jacob Ashley, he's no stranger to submissions himself, so he's out here subbing everybody also. So it's I'm curious how this is going to look because, Briley has had these submissions in his back pocket that he's been catching people with, and they may or may not be there this time, So is he going to have to keep the fight standing?
Yeah.
Is Ashley going to be able to get the fight to the ground? So that's the intrigue for me in this one.
Definitely.
It'll definitely be an exciting bout, man. I'm definitely looking forward to it. October 20th, I'll be retiring from the Navy on the 19th. I have a bunch of friends and family coming in from out of town, so we're looking at having a stacked card. Really excited as how it's shaping up. So great main event. The co-main event, we haven't officially announced it on social media, but I'll go ahead and do it here. Troy Kane is going to be coming in. He's our current 185 champ. He'll be fighting Tyus Thomas for the 205 belt. So we got champion versus champion. So we'll be looking at dropping that flyer sometime this week. So that should be a pretty interesting co-main event. Troy Kane, like right now, he's just crushing it.
Yeah.
The guy just...
He's on fire.
Yeah, he's
He was
undefeated.
He was on SFL 35. He jumped on and he had his Louis Vuitton bag with his, and I was like,
With the belt
dude,
inside,
what?
yeah.
Yeah, because I was like sitting, I'm like, he was getting ready to leave, and I'm like, wait, what's in that Louis Vuitton bag? And he had his belt in there, and I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah, he's styling, man. Definitely styling.
He is.
He posted a picture and tagged me in it. I need to figure out where that picture is. But it was him just taking a picture looking down into the bag, and the Louis bag was open, and it had the belt
Nice.
in there. But I guess he said for this next event coming in, he's trading in Louis bags for body bags. So we'll
Yep,
see.
I saw that.
We'll see.
That's
it
pretty
should
cool.
be a pretty good fight with him and Tyus Thomas.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
What else
I'm
we got?
excited for that?
So from there, we just announced the 115 title. So we're going to be doing the 115 title. We've got Elise Reed. She's coming down from Jersey, and then she'll be fighting Angelica Martinez. Angelica, she was a one-time SFL female champ. She was looking at studying abroad, going pro, ended up vacating the title. She never lost it with us. Her record right now, I believe, is what, 7-2? Angelica?
Yes,
I think she had a loss at the
7-2.
beginning.
Or 7-3, I believe.
Yeah, because she had two.
I think she
two
dropped her
wins.
first two
Oh, sorry,
bouts,
2 losses.
and she dropped her
7-round
previous
win
bout.
streak, and then she lost her
Right,
most
right,
recent
right.
one.
Yeah, so I mean, ton of talent. And then she'll be competing against Elise Reed. Elise Reed's an Army Reserve officer. She was a VMI graduate. She's a very tough lady. She was the first female bout that we had. We went on about a 4.5-year streak. We didn't have one single female fight, and then that was the first female bout that kind of broke the streak.
Yeah.
It was her against Tara Reed, and Elise Reed ended up, or Tara Graff, I'm sorry, and Elise Reed ended up winning that fight. She deployed to Kuwait for a year. She got back about 6 months ago. We've been looking at getting her back on the card, so this will be a very interesting fight. The current champ, Christy, due to some injuries, she's been unable to defend in the last year. So it's about time to kind of look at, moving in the new 115 champ. Hopefully, if Christy is healthy enough by January, we can look at bringing her back and maybe, giving her a rightful shot at whoever wins this.
Yep. Yeah, I'll try to throw that promo video up here on the video so people can see it.
My name is Elise Reed. I'm 25. I'm a MMA fighter, business owner, and Army reservist. I went to VMI on an Army scholarship. I rose up the ranks in the leadership and became the highest ranking female ever in VMI. People expect me, being 115, to hit light like a 115. I don't. I break bricks. When you step in the ring, you think you got hit hard in training, it's not as hard as I can hit. If they think that they can handle me, and they think that they can take me, it's disrespectful, because they can't. And they don't know it yet, so I have to tell them.
Another right hand. Taking some hard shots. There's the guillotine. Heavy shots. Now Lee starting to really land some shots. There's always almost turning her back. Needs to get that head down and either. Pretty impressed by her. She's strong. She looks strong. As far as last time I seen fighting, yes.
The VMI one.
Yeah, so Elise Reed just recently submitted, put out a video of her training. She's got her Army uniform on. She's talking about her time at VMI. She's a tough girl, man. She hits hard. It should be a really good fight. And we've got a couple of events now where we haven't had a female bout. I've had a ton of people asking. The last fight, man, we were trying so hard, with the TKO for the Tatas. We definitely wanted a female bout on there. We were struggling to find a 125 bout. We got a young lady that wants to compete under Team Rock. We're still in the same position this time around where we don't have somebody for her yet. So, we're still looking for a 125 female, somebody new that is willing to step up, maybe have two female bouts that night.
If anyone listening knows someone who knows somebody about it,
That's right.
send them this way.
SFL Radio 757 at gmail.com. we'll get you in there.
And talking about Team Rock.
Well, before that, we have Rob Shermer.
Yep. We do have a couple more title fights. Taking
on Adrian Soto Perez, which is a bit of a grudge match. I feel like every time I turn around, these guys are like going back and forth, whether it be social media, backstage.
Soto Perez is hungry for that time.
Backstage at SFL 35. Like every time I go back to the locker rooms, they're going back and forth. They're going back and forth.
Well, he came out and was talking to me about that at the table. Soto Perez was, and he's ready.
So there's a little disdain between the two of them. So that could make for some fireworks and a rather heated exchange.
Yeah.
So
I don't really see that fight going 3 rounds. I think those guys are coming in. They're coming in for blood. They're trying to finish the fight.
Yeah.
I know Rob's been training pretty hard for this. Soto. He's just had really bad luck with this. I mean, he's had 4 cancellations in the last year. They're all the week of the fight. Within, 3 to 4 days of fight, the fight night actually happening, he's had 4 different drops. Very discouraging. As a promoter, having to reach out to these guys that close to the event. You're cutting weight. You're training hard. You go through a full fight camp. You're days away from fighting. It's like, hey, man, sorry, this just happened. And it's happened over and over 4 different times with Soto. He stayed loyal to the brand. There's a ton of other organizations reaching out to him. He refuses to fight for anybody else.
He wants that strap.
He wants that strap. He definitely does. And I think he comes from a good camp. I mean, he trains with Troy Kane and a bunch of other fighters out of Fearless MMA. And I mean, there's just a lot of bad blood between him and Rob Shermer. And I think the fact that we're dangling the 155 that's pretty much been vacant also for about the last year, dangling that out there as well, I think it's a nice little prize. Like, to get a chance to come out there and take that W and get the belt, especially when both these guys seem to dislike each other as much as they do.
Yeah.
I think should be a good fight. That one you don't want to.
That's
a
fight of the night possibility right there.
Yeah,
we'll see.
It's going to be interesting for sure. I'm excited. I'm definitely excited for it.
And the interview afterwards is going to be sweet. It'd be better if I could get both of them on at the same time. Probably not, but we'll see what we can do.
Maybe not. It should make for an interesting press conference, probably.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so right now, I mean, just talking about the lineup, main event we talked about, we're going to unify the 145 co-main. We're doing champion versus champion. The co-main, I guess, would be the female bout, so go ahead and get that 115 title out there. And then we're also going to fill the 155. So that's 4 title fights.
Say a lot of title fights right there.
It is. So we've got one more that we're potentially going to be releasing, hopefully this week. So, kind of stay tuned with that. We've got a bunch of other fights we haven't released just yet, but we've got a lot of other fights that are happening. One of the other big ones, Team Rock, they're coming back. Tommy Kawazi is going to be fighting Chris McCarty, and that's a huge fight. That is a huge fight.
It's a number 1 contender fight, right?
Yes, it is. So anytime Chris fights, I mean, ODU really shows out. I mean, Chris being a wrestler from there, Old Dominion alumni, I mean, those guys really come out and support for him.
Yep.
Every time Tommy's on the card, his
Team
family.
Rock is always in force.
Eden, North Carolina, they definitely come out. And I think that's probably going to be one of the loudest fights of the night.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be so many people. Between Chris McCarty being on home turf there at Old Dominion.
Yeah.
And, just the amount of people that Team Rock packs in the house. When
they roll heavy.
They get that whole
crazy,
section.
Man.
Well, that's what we were joking around
numbers.
when I was talking to Big T. It's like I always try to pick out. Me and Chris always said, which section do you think is Eden? Because they take up a whole section.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the first fighter comes out, they explode. It's crazy.
Well, and, I haven't announced the matchup yet, but Coyote Thunder, I don't remember if you guys remember him. It's been about a year since he's been on the fight card with us. It was last August, so he's out of RVA, so he'll be coming down as well with Angelica in their camp. And it's pretty cool because when those guys come down, they all wear their fight shirts, and they come down with a pretty good crowd as well. So that'll be good. And then Odyssey MMA, I'm still waiting to hear back from their coach. We've been kind of bouncing back and forth this week. I've been in and out of town. So we're expecting some fight camps that bring out a good amount of people. We've got some solid fights lined up. It's going to be a great night. I mean, you definitely don't want to miss it. October 20th at Constant Center.
That's right. You can go online and get your tickets. Also, speaking of weigh-ins, we were talking about that in press conference. Lunacy Key West Cafe in Virginia Beach is going to be hosting the weigh-ins the night before on the 19th. And we're also we're still in the process of planning, but October 6th for the UFC fight and the return of McGregor, we're working on a Spartyka party at Lunacy that we'll be sponsoring, and you'll be able to watch the fight and also get tickets to the October 20th Spartyka fight at Lunacy that day. Details to follow. Keep up with us on social media. Once we hammer out all the details on that, we'll be releasing those.
Yeah, it should be a pretty fun night. We're still going to work out the details, like Mike just said. So we'll look at probably doing a presser that night, watching the big, Conor McGregor returning back to the UFC. That should be a huge pay-per-view night. And it's also just a great night for us to kind of promote the upcoming fight 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
So we'll be at Lunacy's October 6th, and then we'll be back October 19th for the weigh-ins. Weigh-ins will run a little bit different than they had before. We'll be putting out some more information on that, but we're going to utilize the big stage and everything that they got there. We're going to make it look like a big deal. We're expecting a huge turnout for that, and it should be a pretty good time.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
I'm excited.
You get October 6th, you get a night to hang out for
yeah,
once.
I mean, that doesn't happen too often. So
yeah.
It's kind of crazy. That should have been the night. We had plans on October 6th, but now it'll turn into a UFC party. I can't remember the last time I've actually gone out to watch a UFC event somewhere. I'm usually so busy. If I'm catching it, I'm catching it at the house.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I got to catch a UFC either.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Are you going to be out with us that night, or are you going to be busy somewhere else?
No, I will be covering the event.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, we'll be having some drinks for you, Eddie.
That's right.
Yeah.
We'll send you pictures.
I just need to go ahead and book a hotel room now, and something walking distance. I think there's like a Holiday Inn or something right across the street.
Hey, I should see if I can pull the RV like behind like one of the clubs. We'll just crash in that.
Yeah.
Well, if you can't make it out to the Lunacy party on October 6th, you can definitely follow me on bloodyelbow.com for all your results posts, highlights, and play-by-play, all that jazz. So you will not be without October 6th, Conor McGregor.
That's it. Coverage everywhere.
Yeah.
All angles.
All angles.
So yeah, what else? We got. Do we have anything else coming up before the 20th? Any other dates people need to put in their books?
Locally, no. Next weekend, Spartyka will be out in San Diego. We're doing a Spartyka Wounded Warrior 5K out there. We're honoring an EOD chief. He was blown up last November, just before the holidays. He was deployed to Syria, and Ken Stacy is his name, EOD chief, and lost complete feeling in both his arms and both his legs and his voice. Wow. So it's pretty tough. Married, 4 kids. He's our honorary Warrior of the Day, and he just got flown back from Houston to San Diego about 3 days ago. So he'll be in town for the 5K.
Nice.
It's going to be an honor meeting his wife, meeting his kids, and meeting him as well. And, shout out to all the troops and everybody that's currently deployed and, deploying soon or just coming back from deployment. A lot of times people forget, we've been fighting this war now for 17 years, and people are still getting blown up, people are still getting killed. In this situation, this EOD chief, he survived, but
it's crazy to me to think about that. People enlisting next year.
Yeah.
Well, we're not born when we started this.
That's crazy.
Wow. That's wild.
So their whole life, and some of the people that are enlisting right now, like their whole life we've been at war.
Yeah, their whole memory. Yeah.
It's crazy. If you're 17 and you're joining. And it's pretty cool because I got hit up the other day. There's one of the Spartyka fans will be graduating Marine Corps boot camp just in time and be on leave for this event. So we're going to make sure he gets taken care of. He'll be at home for 10 days of leave. And, they're pretty pumped up about him getting a chance to come out and catch this fight.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure that, we take care of that Marine. So as always, just big shout out to all the troops and all the families that, sacrifice for us to be able to live the life that we do here in America.
And you're an October 20th fight. You're going to be in the Check of the Month Club with me.
Yeah, I'll be on. I'll already be on Terminal.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'll do a little party on the 19th,
yeah.
And then we'll do weigh-ins that night at Lunacy's. And like I said, I got family and friends in town. I definitely want this fight to be memorable for some of these people that are traveling in from out of town.
That's their first time ever coming, right?
First time ever seeing it. So I just want to, just knock their socks off. And right now, the fight card is stacked. I mean, it's definitely looking good. And there's a bunch of other fights that we have on there. So we're opening the doors at 5:30. Prelims will start at 6:30. It's on the flyer. I'm telling you right now, with the amount of fights that we got, we're definitely kicking off prelims at 6:30. And we're going to push the tempo that night because with 5 title fights, You know, we don't want to be there all
that's
night.
a lot of talent, so anything can happen.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
the fights could end quick, or they could go. It
Exactly.
could be a war, so you never really know. And real quick, shout out to Professor Diego Bisbo,
Yes.
who
Oh,
yeah.
actually just won Master Worlds for the 3rd straight year.
That's crazy.
So, his jiu-jitsu is really something special, and to have that locally here,
Yeah.
you know, in Virginia Beach, in
Yeah, congrats to him
757,
on
that's
that.
kind of a big deal, and kind of makes this place even more special. So.
Definitely. And he wasn't even 100% because he
Oh, no, yeah,
told me he had
he
strep
was-
throat before
he
the
was
match.
battling strep
and he
throat,
wasn't,
like,
he
on
wasn't even going to compete,
antibiotics.
and then he decided to
Yeah.
compete, and then he wins. That's crazy.
Yeah, real crazy. So shout out to him. He's a team. He's Aries BJJ, just like Tennille Timabu,
Yep.
Aries BJJ also. Yeah, so shout out to the local scene, kind of getting a little bit. Even though he's Brazilian,
Yeah.
you know, he's has some roots here now.
He
So.
does. Well, he's been here for like, what, 10 years or something? Somebody told me he's been here for a while.
Yeah, but his gym's only been up and running for what, like 2 years now? Has it even been that long?
Well, I think maybe at that location he's at now.
Yeah.
I think he's been training at other locations.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
you
tell
could-
you what, in the last 2
teaching-
years
teaching.
since he opened his own place, man, I mean, they've just exploded.
Yeah.
And just doing phenomenal across the board, all these different tournaments.
And his
we
fighters
should
are
go
his
do a
fighters are
podcast.
doing
We should
awesome.
go podcast at DVA.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah, it's
some
all. It's
fighters
definitely on
there.
our location list. We've wanted to do one there, so and
I tell you what, we ought to get Rob for that one. I mean, we'll catch
Yeah,
Rob on
yeah.
one of the days
Yeah.
that he's in there training. It kind of makes sense. It's his gym.
definitely.
Could probably throw Harvey on there as well while we're there. So yeah, let's look at getting that set up. I think
Harvey
that'll be a pretty
Grassy.
cool one.
Shout out to Harvey Grassy.
Right
one
here,
time.
I'll put it on my list.
Yeah, and we've had Marshall on the podcast, but
Yep.
we haven't had his big brother yet. And for those of you guys that don't know, Rob's a Marine Corps vet, and he'll be fighting for the 155 title. So trains out of DBA.
Yeah, they had a lot of champs come out of that gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be the whole card is stacked, and it's not just DVA. I mean, all the camps around here are pretty. The talent that gets produced is really astounding.
Yeah.
Like, the quality of fights we get at Spartyka Fight League.
Oh, it's
like it blows me away. It blows me away. I mean, it's really top shelf stuff.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that we were looking at when we first started was just trying to put this place on the map. And, there's more organizations that have been kind of looking at this place. I mean, we've had the UFC come into town. We've had Glory in town twice. LFA was just here about a month ago. So it's crazy because nobody really knows Hampton Roads and Virginia Beach. I mean, it's not really a city compared to like Chicago and New York and Vegas and everything else.
Yep.
But little by little, we're starting to put this place on the map. We've got great talent coming out of here. We've got a lot of people on the Spartyka staff that work really hard to just put on a very professional event. And these fighters that are coming out and showing out, man, they're doing a great job. So expect more things to happen on the MMA scene here. I think it's just going to continue to grow. And I'm excited for it.
It's booming.
I like it. Cool. Well, we're getting to the end here. We're going to bring on Coach Nelson and chit-chat with him about what's going on here today. Thank you for, as always, taking time out of your busy schedule to come on, talk about everything coming up. Remember, hit us up on social media, Spartyka Fight League on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. We have a playlist on there, SFL Radio. You can check all of our interviews out. Also, the Eddie Mercado posts all the fight videos up on the same channel. He has his playlist up there as well. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff.
And Twitter.
And Twitter.
And Twitter.
I never use I have a Twitter. I never use it.
Oh, you gotta at me at the Eddie Mercado. No surprise.
Yeah. I was gonna say, well, easy to find. I used to use it for my DJ stuff. I feel like just nobody uses it anymore. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe I just don't use it.
It's big in the fight world. Like all the fighters.
Really?
So everyone
Twitter
can like
stuff?
have their own say, and it's officially them saying it.
That's true. Yeah.
Or their publicist. Some people.
Excellent.
Some people do.
And if you're listening to this on SoundCloud or Google Play, audio only, of course, if you want to see the video, our beautiful smiling faces, Eddie's man bun, Jimmy's sweet sunglasses, check us out on YouTube and you can watch. All right? We will see you guys.
Oh, wait.
We're not going to do that yet.
I'm always early or
Always.
late.
We're going to, we'll be back probably, hopefully next week for another cast, get some fighters on, and you got that idea in my head about going to Diego's now, so I'm going to set that up. So,
Yeah.
all right. Now we can do it.
Okay.
Ready?
Do you start? Is it at the same time?
We always screw
Okay.
this up.
All right, I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. This is Spartyka. Thanks, Jimmy.
Oh wait, is it Spartyka or yeah? Okay.
SFL Radio.
Welcome back to SFL Radio. I'm your host, Mikey V, with my absent co-host, Chris Elane. Empty chair today. That's all right. We just had Jimi Partyka and the Eddie Mercado on talking about SFL 35, which you were at. You had a good night with your fighters, right?
Oh, phenomenal night. Both my fighters won by knockout, one in the first round, one in the third round.
And that was the 2 knockouts of the evening.
Indeed.
So I am sitting here, which you actually heard him if you listened to our Fightcast. Nelson the Tyrant Lebron, who was came in after the second fight and sat down with us and talked with us. You are a coach here at UFC Gym, right?
Yes, sir.
So UFC Gym Norfolk sponsors the podcast. Thank you for that. Today's the 2-year anniversary, correct?
Yes, 2 years.
And you've been here since you're the OG, right?
I'm the OG, the first guy that got hired.
That's right. So you're a striking coach here?
Yeah, I'm a striking coach.
Excellent. So give I know obviously your background, but some of the SFL listeners don't. Tell us a little bit about your background. I know you're a prior world champ. You were Navy, and you got a whole big history.
Yeah. Well, I'm born and raised out of the South Bronx in New York City. So I started boxing and Taekwondo when I was 5. By age 13, I had already achieved my black belt in my first style. I currently hold belts in 9 different styles. I lived in Okinawa for 5 years due to the fact that I got stationed with the Marine Corps side of the house, and I loved it out there. So while I was over there, I picked up black belts in Shorin Ryu and Ishin Ryu, and I also started doing Kyokushin karate over there. Kyokushin is a very rough style, very similar to Muay Thai, but instead you could grab the gi, knee to the face, no shin guards, no nothing. I started doing a lot of K1 style fights out there. I'm also a black belt on the legend, and may he rest in peace, Joe Louis. I'm a black belt on the Bill Superfoot Wallace, Tom the Phenom Poe. Like I said, a total of 9 different styles, and on top of that, I was a combatives instructor, so I teach old school line training and the Marine Corps martial arts. I was an instructor trainer. I wound up doing 9 combat tours, 7.5 years boots on ground.
But I have to throw this in, because when you told me this and we talked, you were a chaplain's assistant.
Yes, I'm a chaplain's assistant.
Which I thought was amazing, and then...
I started out as a photographer, but then things happened in my life which drove me out the Navy, and upon coming back in, I came in as a chaplain's assistant, which I thought was God laughing at me, but hey, I wound up being... a bodyguard to chaplains in combat, and then after a while my skill set was so good that I was bodyguarding generals, bodyguarded both Bushes and Bill Clinton in country. I got to work on the presidential staff, so I got to do a lot of cool things. And then in the midst of all of that, this small guy from the Bronx started fighting at 119 pounds as an adult in the Hampton Roads area, and I wound up winning the WKAs, the IKFs, you name it, everything under the sun, and fighting overseas. I fought in Basel, Switzerland, fought in Spain, fought in Russia. I was truly living the life of a rock star while being a poor enlisted man in the Navy.
Yeah, that's great, man. Super, I would say, overqualified for what you do.
Yes.
But it also shows in the people that you train. Like I said, both knockouts of the night were both your fighters. It was really cool to see you there. I actually knew you before I got involved with all this,
right,
from the nightlife scene, from you running security and me DJing.
Yes.
And I thought it was kind of cool when they picked up the sponsorship here and everything. And I was like, that's Nelson's gym, like, sweet. So that's pretty cool. So what's going on today? I mean, I came in, you have like 800 million kids running around. I know you've always been really big on doing stuff with the kids, coaching them and doing like charity work. What was going on today?
Well, today, I since I got a black belt in 9 different styles, I decided to create a style. I got tired of watching these people get robbed and their kids going to martial arts places because their child was being bullied and paying tons and tons of money, and their kids being in the program a year, 2 years in, and they've got a bunch of belts but couldn't fight their way out of a wet paper bag.
They're buying belts, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. So what I did was solidify a system. I got it approved by all my grandmasters and people that I know. And then my style is pretty much a hybrid combative style. It's got kicks like Taekwondo, kicks like a Thai fighter, kicks like a karate guy, kicks like a Kyokushin guy. It's got kicks for speed and kicks for power. It's got punching like a boxer. So ultimately my goal is to have guys be able to fight and be versatile enough to fight in the ring, street, cage, or in the combat zone and feel comfortable. So with my kids today, this is going on our 2nd year. So we were having our 2nd belt test. I test, unlike a lot of people, I test twice a year, in December and at the end of summertime. That does 2 things: right before Christmas vacation and right before they go back to school. And it just sets kids off on a high. However, I'm very strict. I do not give belts away. So
I was going to say, I noticed, I think I saw one person leaving a little upset. Not everybody gets it. It's not a given, right?
yeah, I'm old school. You got to earn it. Blood, sweat, and tears. You know, it's a science. And some of my kids failed today, and I could tell some of their parents wanted to rip me apart, and they were upset. But at the end of the day, it's in black and white. You got to perform to a certain standard, and like I tell my kids, who do you want driving a car? Somebody who can somewhat drive, or somebody who definitely knows how to drive? I feel safe with the guy who can drive.
Of course. And I think, with kids nowadays, and a lot of people will agree, kids aren't really taught to fail nowadays. Everything is just handed and given to them. It's participation trophies. And I've been here, obviously. I train here at this gym. I've listened to your classes, and I like that you are, you're fair with the kids, but you're hard on them, and it's reality. And I think you're preparing them for the real world more so than they're getting from other places.
Yeah, it's tough love. It's tough love. And plus, it's a combat sport. You could play basketball, you could play football, but you can't play MMA, you can't play boxing, you can't play kickboxing. At the end of the day, you're going to go home, even if you won, sometimes with a few bruises, even a black eye.
Yeah.
I won a fight, and I have both my eyes shut, my nose fractured, and
I was going to say,
tooth.
if you look at the Samson Saucer Tommy Kawase fight, when Samson won, he was wheeled out of in a wheelchair from that match, and he was the winner. So and Tommy sat down with us, and he looked fresh. So I mean, you never know,
Yep. It happens that way sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, today is our 2-year anniversary, so not only did the kids test, but then on top of that, I have like a potluck cookout picnic, like the last picnic of the summertime for them.
Yep.
And everybody donates and brings out food. We're trying to raise money for a tournament we're having September 15th, because tournaments get expensive, especially for kids, if you got kids. So I raise money for them. I got t-shirts for sale. We got a tank load of food outside. We just make it an all-around positive day.
Yeah, it's nice. I was going to say earlier, we just started the podcast, and it was like Ed cranked up the DJ set, and I said, right when we start, the DJ kicks off. But it's cool, man. We got music, kids are running around. The enchiladas out back. Who made those?
It's one of the parents is a restaurant owner, so they got all sorts of Mexican food out there. We got a grill going, So
good.
I bought about, I think, 68 water guns, so they're all out there shooting themselves with water.
That's what Jimmy said. He's like, man, I hope nobody comes in and blasts us with a super soaker. So. But you brought a lot of the kids out to the last fight, right?
Yes, I took 48 kids to the fight.
Nice, that's awesome. And I think it's great too because you made a joke earlier. You said in a couple years you're going to be hitting Jimmy up for different weight classes with these kids that are coming up.
Yeah.
But if you look at Samson Saucer, he was the guy in SFL 1, 10 years old, mopping the ring, the blood out of the ring.
Exactly.
And you know what I mean? And it's like. It's crazy to see.
He's a good pro prospect. The kid's young, he's youthful, he's explosive. I mean, nothing could be said bad about the kid. He's got good work ethic. I mean, he calls guys out every now and then. I'm like, oh, slow down, public. I give him props. He's a hardworking individual.
The kids now are going to be the fighters of the future that we're going to be watching and training, and I'll be interviewing. So I think that's awesome.
And who knows? Then maybe UFC Gym Norfolk might have the next UFC world champion, you know? And I can say, hey, I had a part in that guy.
That's right. Heck yeah, man. I'm gonna be training with you again soon.
Good.
Dennis has been kicking my butt recently. I haven't been able to catch your class, but
good. Especially since people think we're brothers, we gotta get both you know.
Yes.
You might get one of my arch nemesis coming after you and be like, oh snap, it's not Nelson.
That's that right. Oh, believe me, every time I come here, people are like, Coach, never mind.
Yeah.
I'll be Coach Nevermind soon. The only difference is you still got it up top.
I don't think I'm ever going back.
No. I got you. I got the beard with you, but the top, I'm a little
match.
I wear the hat, so. But it's funny, at the nightclub, I always tell people that when we both worked at that club, people used to come up to me and be like,
you kicked me out, or you didn't play my song. I paid you $5. I was like, bro, I'm not the DJ.
Yeah, heck yeah, man, that's great. Well, cool, man. So, SFL 36 is coming up October 20th. We were talking about. Do you have anybody fighting in that?
I'm not sure yet. I think I do. I may have one guy.
Okay.
I may have one guy fighting in it as of right now. I'm still building the team. The team is only a year old. 2 years old, and to create fighters, it normally takes between a 3 to 5 year period. It's like driving a car. You drive the first year, you're kind of driving okay, but 3 years in to 5 years in, you could drive pretty decent.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, we're excited to see what you can bring to the table. Like I said, you had both knockouts of the night, which is awesome. We always love knockouts, and we have a lot of really cool fights and promotions coming up. So I'm excited for you guys to be a part of that.
I can't wait.
I think I'm gonna get with my little one with you too. She's 8.
Oh yeah, I love kids. Kids are my kryptonite. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for the boys clubs and some of my martial arts instructor as a child, I could have been another South Bronx statistic, you know?
Yeah.
But good parenting and that tough love,
That's it.
It made it possible for me to go places, you know?
And I feel like these days we are in a shortage of role models for kids with all this social media crap that goes on and all these people watching, you know, whatever. They're idolizing, I think, the wrong people. So
especially now that there's such a drive. It seems like this is such a drive to keep people separated, and people need a sense of belonging, you know? And one thing I've always said is that there's colors of belts in martial arts, but there's no ethnicities, because it tends to transcend to all races, you know?
Yeah. That's excellent, man. Well, I would like to thank you for everything you do. I know UFC Gym, you are like a cornerstone of this place. Once again, thank you, UFC Gym Norfolk, for sponsoring the podcast and working with SFL Radio. We're super happy to be a part of it. Some days, you know, when I'm on the mat or I'm in the back in the bathroom throwing up, you know, I'm like, oh, what am I doing? But no, I'm glad, and I appreciate everything. And Spartyka Fight League, we're looking forward to the noise you're going to make in the future.
And it's coming. Look out for the Lion T-shirts. You'll see them. They say there is no off season in our sport because everybody else has got an off season, but unfortunately, real fighters are training year round. Even when we're not in fight shape, we're still in shape. So.
Oh yeah. I saw a shirt. What did it say? Free punches and kicks to the face.
Yeah, free punches and kicks to the face. That was one of my designs. And
I love it.
My newest design says fighting. It's a play on words. It says fighting. Never about who's right, but about who's left. Get it?
I like
right
it.
and
I
left.
like it.
So.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, Coach Nelson, thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you at the SFL 36. And even if you don't have any fighters, you still come out, hang out with us.
I'm definitely coming out and showing some love and support. Thank you for having me.
Definitely. And for everybody listening, this is UFC Gym Norfolk on Military Highway. Come out, check it out, talk to the general manager, Dan Brooks. Let him know SFL Radio sent you, and maybe we'll get you a little hookup on your membership. So,
all right, guys, take care, brush your hair, have a blessed day.
All right, SFL Radio, I'm Mikey V. We will see you at the next episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Spartyka!